The final two charts we're going to add to our dashboard are scatter plots, and these are ideal for showing the correlation between two different data items. In this case, we're going to start with the correlation between years of service and salary. We'd expect somebody who's worked for longer to earn more, but that may not be the case. We start in the usual way with a div in the index.html, and we create a function that will draw our chart. We'll call the function here as if it existed, and that allows us to pick the ideal name. So we'll start with the name show service to salary correlation, and we'll pass it our cross filter ndx. So this is exactly the same as all of the other charts we've built so far. Scatter plots are a little different to bar charts, particularly in how we handle the dimensions. So if you're at all unsure about how they work, there are 2 previous lessons in the course on how to draw scatter plots. You might want to refresh those before continuing with this lesson. Here's our function, and we're going to create 2 dimensions. The first dimension is going to be on years of service, and we only use this to work out the bounds of the x-axis, the minimum and maximum years of service that we need to plot. The second dimension that we create actually returns an array with 2 parts, one being the years of service and the other being the salary. And this is what allows us to plot the dots of the scatter plot at the right x and y coordinates. So edim here is just a simple pluck on the years of service, and experiencedim is going to use a function here to extract the 2 pieces of information that we need for plotting the dots. edim and experiencedim are not great names here. They're too similar. So as a little challenge to yourself, you might want to try renaming these to something more appropriate. The experiencedim, which returns the 2 parts, years of service and salary, the first part of this, years of service, will be used to plot the x coordinate of the dot, and the second part, salary, will be used to plot the y coordinate of the dot, how far up the chart it appears. We then, of course, need a group, but we're not doing any special reductions here. We're not getting averages or summing. So a simple group will work here to reduce the data. And we'll get a distinct dot on our plot for each unique years of service and salary combination. We then need the minimum years of experience and maximum years of experience, and we extract those from the edim dimension. We take the bottom 1 value, and that gives us our minimum, and we take the top 1 value of that dimension to get our maximum years of service. So we change this to top, and there we go. Now we create our scatter plot. As usual, we tell it the div where we want to draw the chart. We look back here and we called that service-salary. So let's take that and put it in here, not forgetting the hash to indicate that this is the ID of the div. Some of the properties here are standard, similar to bar chart, width and height, for example. And we then plot our horizontal axis scale. Now in this case it's linear, it's not ordinal. For all the charts where we've plotted male, female, those have been ordinal values. Years of service is linear because 5 years of service is more than 4. So it's going to be a horizontal axis, and the domain of that axis is going to range from the minimum experience to the maximum experience. We will turn off our brush here. If you toggle that to true, you'll be able to highlight some of the dots on the chart and filter the remaining charts. So when your chart is up and running, try toggling brush on from false to true and see the impact that it has on the chart. Symbol size will indicate the size of the dots that we're going to plot, and clip padding leaves room near the top so that if we have a plot that's right on the top, there's actually room for it. We'll then label our y-axis, which is years of service. Actually, that's wrong. We'll need to come back and change that, because years of service will actually be plotted along the horizontal axis. But we'll leave it for now. We'll fix it in a few minutes. The title is going to be what will appear if you hover the mouse over a dot. So we're going to display some information here if you do that. A tooltip will appear and it will display earned and the salary. And note here that we're using key 1. Now this relates to that years of service and salary dimension that we created earlier. The salary is the second item, and in the world of programming, because we started 0, that's item number 1 from the array. So we earned whatever the salary was. If we had said key 0 there, it would have displayed the years of service. The dimension for this chart is the experience dim, and that's that dim that contains both the years of service and salary. And the group is just the group that we created. We'll plot our margins in the normal way. And that will be that. Now we might run into some trouble when we try to display the chart. Let's have a look. And indeed we do. We get a dot here in the top left corner and nothing else. And the reason for that is, much like earlier when we needed to iterate over our data and convert it to integers, we are dealing with data here that's again being treated as a string when we would like it to be treated as a number. So we're going to change our years of service here and use parse int on that as well. And it's years.service. I'm wrapping that in the square bracket and quotes rather than using the dot notation because years of service actually has a dot in it, so it would cause problems. And there's our scatter plot displaying.